Welcome back, fellow ranchers. Can you believe we've nearly made it to the end of Season 6 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch? Now, my goal isn't to end our season coverage on a sour note, but we have to have a real talk about scientific integrity and how this show has gone completely off the rails. It's gotten to the point where my goodwill towards Brandon Fugal and Dr. Travis Taylor's efforts may have hit rock bottom. Over the course of this season, we visited Utah Valley University 3 times, including this episode. I didn't notice something the first 2 times we went there, but I noticed it this time. The side of the building that hosts the science lab has a very interesting name. It reads Fugal Gateway. After doing some research, I discovered that Brandon Fugal made a hefty donation of $5 million to Utah Valley University. Now, I attended Penn State, so I am no stranger to the cult-like feeling alum may have for the school that spent 4 years drowning them in debt. Maybe I was overreacting when I saw that. But a quick search through the Skinwalker subreddit and other groups revealed that I was not the only one to be taken aback by this. There is nothing wrong with donating money to your college, but it's the implications that come with it all. Doesn't it all feel a bit too perfect that the man who donated millions to his alma mater just so happens to own this specific ranch? And now the show is relying on scientific information from the school with his name on it to say that. Basically, Brandon and his team are making history. There seems to be a disconnect between Brandon Fugal and how he is perceived. He is a self-proclaimed idol of disclosure, doing nothing more than attempting to pay his way into the history books. That being said, I'm not entirely sure about my future with covering the secret of Skinwalker Ranch. There's a level of entertainment and understood dramatization that the Curse of Oak Island has that this show does not. Fugal and his team beg you to take what they say at face value without disclosing the important aspects of their wallets. I felt a similar way, as many in this show did, when we learned that Dr. Travis Taylor was secretly working for the UAPTF in earlier seasons. However, I didn't feel that Travis's overall position within the task force affected his work on the ranch. With all of that being said, I don't feel comfortable going forward to analyze anything that happened in this episode. As usual, this episode gives us about 15 to 20 minutes of new content and about 15 to 20 minutes of rehashing things that have been said already in this and previous episodes. They do one final big experiment and don't even give us the data reveal. They just want to continue edging us with the possibility of something, just to try and make us come back one last time. I'm not stupid. I know every single show must craft a level of intrigue to make audiences come back each week. Unfortunately, I think I've had enough. So, fellow ranchers, this is my coverage for Season 6, Episode 13 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. To be a completionist, I may do one final article for the season final. From there, I'm not too sure. You can watch The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, Fire in the Holes, S6E13, and previous episodes on the History Channel, and check out more of Brendan's coverage from this and previous seasons. Ice steel wind slices across the mesa at dawn, skeletal silhouettes of pines etched against pale light. Dust and dry sand twist in silent whirlwinds. The camp, nestled in a clearing, waits. Silent instruments, glimmering senses, and tense anticipation. A frozen breath of sound. The hiss of liquid nitrogen meeting ceramic, a test. The glowing fog of boiling nitrogen refracts daylight. Bubbles quake, racing upward, but one ceramic shard remains blistering hot, steam rising in restless plumes. No words accompany this feathered anomaly. A camera's lens abstracts its drama. Metallic tiles shimmer under harsh lab lights, half-coated, half-bare. Electrons strike. Patterns appear like living geometry. Surface splits, Fractures bloom. Then, as if it possesses volition, it heals. The golden film crumples. Tiny creases frozen mid-rupture. The contrast between old-world ceramics and new-world transformation. Velvet calm under scorching tension. Deep underground, the mesa's hidden truth stirs. Ultrasonic pulses, ground-penetrating radars, echoing emptiness and impossible geometry. Metallic coatings reminiscent of space re-entry armor. Aluminum oxide glows faintly under scanning electron glare. Iron, zinc, carbon, silicon. Buried secrets speak through elemental whispers. Back above ground, in the open fields, the triangle rests at the center of a silent, invisible sphere, the bubble. Infrared scanners, spectrum analyzers, high-speed lenses stand sentinel. The bubble shimmers in unseen wavelengths. 4 fuel mines sit in perfect alignment. 5 more brace the western rim. A countdown. 3, 5, 2, 4, 1. Ignition. Fiery blossoms erupt through the morning haze. Rings of smoke form, perfect at first. Soon distortions appear, warping, drifting, collapsing in silent defiance. Smoke rings at the bubble's boundary buckle, twist, fracture. Instruments blink, sputter, screen glitches, spectrum analyzers flicker. Second blast. Rings spiral unevenly, slanted arcs dissolving midway. A high-speed camera shutters, recording skips, frames vanish. Thermal cameras wink out then reawaken, flickers of interference in their gaze. Third, fires erupt. 1 ring coalesces, another fails to form, empty air. An igniter fails completely, its charge deafening silence. Communications stutter, GPS warps, drifts. Signals spike unexpectedly, 1.2 GHz, then 1.6 GHz. Spectral echoes, reflections of experiments themselves. Anomalous frequency pulses bloom across spectrum scopes. At the western boundary, remote teams ignite another fireball. Rings never materialize, only formless billows of soot. Thermal drones sweep upward, searching, scanning, eyes in the sky pandering to silence. 3 simultaneous explosions. 1 ring. 1 blank. 1 aborted. Hidden pulses infect the airwaves. The control systems quiver, igniters misfire. Devices bend under pressure from the invisible. Above the mesa ridge, thermal anomalies flare. Bright streaks, 2, parallel, racing across the skyline in silent runes. Streaks trail heat, then vanish. The temperature wave pulses, cascades across rock edges. Heat blooming then receding, like breathing. Cameras tremble, buffer memories corrupted. Landscapes twist. Words of disbelief pass unspoken only through urgent glances. Eyes widen as the team retrieves instruments amid static and silence. The sun crowns the horizon. The smoke settles. No steam, no dialogue, only the hum of equipment rebooting, the clink of metal cases zipping shut, the creak of tripods folding. Night comes. Flashes of recorded frames glow faintly on screens, flickering. Data logs tangle in code and glitch. The night whispers. Between the anomalies of ceramics and explosive rings, the mesa and the bubble converge in one wordless tapestry. They defy explanation. Ceramics that self-heal. Smoke rings that fracture mid-arc. Frequencies cloned. Thermal streaks that defy flight. A pale dawn unfolds across Skinwalker Ranch. The horizon's sharp line reveals the triangular swirl of the infamous bubble, its presence only betrayed by instruments humming, scanners flickering, and camera eyes poised. Lab at Utah Valley University steel tray cradles a ceramic shard pulled from the mesa. A dull metallic glint survives even in the sterile glare. Liquid nitrogen is poured. Steam hisses, whispers of frost curling upward. Seconds stretch into ages. The ceramic continues to sizzle, boiling long after logic expects it to cool. Tiny bubbles dance furiously across its surface. Instruments record. Temperature decay far slower than control samples. Under a hovering magnet, the shard quivers, then lifts, drifting sideways. A levitation of silence, unaccompanied, uncanny. Nearby, under the electron microscope, a second ceramic sample coated half in gold. Beams of electrons strike both halves. Tiny voids appear. Then, as the beam withdraws, the uncoated half returns to form. The golden staff remains torn, shredded, proof. No voices. Only the metal whispers and screens illuminating the rupture. Under the scanning electron scope again, this time examining a metal piece from the mesa, the surface is ablated. Spectrum charts flicker. Iron beneath a patina rich in aluminum, zinc, carbon, silicon. Aluminum oxide shows through. A coating, spacecraft grade. The sample, cold under the electron beam, holds more secrets than any word could speak. The triangle, center of the bubble minus 2,000 feet invisible radius. High-speed cameras, thermal images, spectrum analyzers arrayed like silent sentinels. On cue, pyrotechnics ignite. Fuel mines burst in fiery blossoms, 4 at the triangle, 5 at the bubble's western boundary. Fiery rings form, whispering smoke spirals climbing. First detonation. Rings appear, but one twists into a figure 8, distorted, bifurcated. A high-speed camera shudders, frames vanish. The thermal cam blinks. Equipment hesitates. Second detonation. A ring forms but warps at its apex. At 2,000 feet, just where the bubble boundary should be, it fractures, collapses. Raw data skips. Spectrum analyzes pulse erratically. A drone's GPS drifts. Third, chaos. One ring forms cleanly, another never appears. The middle igniter simply fails. Screens flicker with data corruption. Signals bounce, drop, glitch. The triangle's silence grows heavy with questions. Simultaneous detonations. On the western rim, fire blooms. Rings rise in perfect circles. On that side, behavior as expected. Back at the triangle, burning bloom yet again malformed. Equipment glitches escalate. Data paths corrupt, buffers reset.